Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome. Please consider subscribing. If you do, hit the notification bell, get all the updates. We're gonna set for today's video. So it's Thursday, and on Thursdays I'm trying to do it more often, do Thursdays Thirsty Thoughts, come up with it, come up with a topic. You think I'd have this down by now. And that I think will get engagement. I hope we'll get engagement because that's the whole point of these videos. Sometimes I can do live streams. It's pretty rare though, and I love those because you can interact like in real time. But at least with this, it's a topic. We'll get some conversations going in the comment section below, and it'll be good. At least I hope we will anyway. So last week's was more of like a personal 2023 kind of a thing. So I thought logically it kind of made sense to go to the next thing. What do we think is going to be more of like shifts potentially, or continuations with different intensities that we're going to see in craft beer consumption, and also just what breweries are brewing. And I do have some thoughts, but as always, I'm like, super interested in what other people have to say. And I'm also kind of why I paused, because I don't know if I should admit this or not. I'm not always on the pulse as much as people would think, right? Like, dude, you review beer on the internet, like you must be on the pulse. And sometimes I'm like out of the loop. So it's another reason why I like doing these, because I learn things. So one of the things I think we're going to kind of see, and it goes hand in hand with breweries and craft beer drinkers, will be more diversity. I've gotten some comments, and not just comments on my videos, but like people, DMing me or whatever on Instagram and on Untapped, with like, I like watching your thing. Basically, something they don't always say they like watching my videos, but something might say something like, "I like watching your videos. You've inspired me to try different styles." But obviously, I'm focusing on that part, focusing on more styles. So I think there are people, and I'm not trying to get into old money, new money. I'm not trying. Everyone is welcome. Who's cool as far as I'm concerned in anything. But I think probably newer people got into certain styles more than people who've been into craft beer longer. Just the name of the game, what's popular, what's available now, all that kind of stuff obviously factors. That's a whole other topic. But I think probably newer, last 5 years or so, people who've gotten into craft beer, hazies, or although this isn't technically a hazy, but you'll see tomorrow if you watch that video. But like, if you got into craft beer because of hazy, juicy IPAs, and then you're, kind of like the bitterness, you're like, wait, what's this West Coast? Now you start liking West Coast IPAs. You're like, well, what are other styles? Here's two I like. And then you kind of, just like anything, right? Food or whatever. Like, well, I like this. Wait, I also like this. Well, maybe I might like a bunch of other stuff I should try. So I think we're going to see a little bit of a shift back to people drinking more variety of different styles. I know I've tried to do that. Sometimes it's just the nature of the beast, what I have on hand to review. So sometimes I feel like I am doing a good, nice variety of styles, and sometimes I'm not. But if I didn't do the channel, I would have a little bit more variety probably in the styles I'm drinking. But I know some breweries are definitely like doing that. I happen to be drinking a Fiden's beer. Just this week, they've released, I believe, 2 West Coast IPAs, a Pilsner. I don't think they had a stout, but then they had like their normal like IPAs, double IPAs, but then they even did pineapple added to at least one I reviewed back on Monday, and I missed a different one that I think also had pineapple in it. And they've been making those before, but this is the first time they've canned them. So like just a super local brewery that's kind of, I think, for people who know them for their hazy game. I'm just using them as an example because, again, they're local and I'm drinking one of their beers. But, they're kind of known for their hazy game. They're getting to be, I think, known a little bit for their adjuncted stouts, which they do very well. And now I think they're like, yeah, we're going to start making some more pilsners. And I happen to know because Matt from Matt's Beer Reviews did an interview with Steve, who's the head brewer there and one of the owners, talking about branching out and doing other styles. So I also kind of know that from, and you should, if you haven't listened to that podcast, you should definitely check it out. He does Massive Beer Reviews on YouTube, and then it's Massive Beer for his podcasting, but he does have it on his channel for YouTube. Anyway, a little plug for him. And then randomly today, because I was kind of thinking about like, what topic do I want to do? I'm like, well, I think this makes the most sense to do based on last week's topic. I was on my Facebook, and I'm Facebook friends with Mike, well, one of the Mikes, who is a head brewer, or a brewer, I don't know if he's a head brewer, so I'll say a brewer at Upstate Brewing Company. And just randomly, they've released a West Coast style IPA, and he said something to the effect of, I'm hoping the industry trends towards West Coast IPAs and crispies more, so like crispy lagers and pilsners, right? And I think there's a lot of truth in this. Like I don't, again, like I'm not always on the pulse when it comes to beer stuff, but I think based on some of the comments I'm getting, what I'm seeing from some breweries, and my own drinking habits, some of my friends' drinking habits, that people are getting burnt out. Not like they're burnt out of like that style holistically, but that just like, oh, I want a variety of flavors, you know? More than just like a variety of hops in, again, just to pick on hazy IPAs, but like, yeah, those can kick out different flavors. Well, they do, obviously. Not can, they do. But even more so, a brown ale, way different, right, than just different hops in a hazy, for example. So I think we're going to see consumers wanting it and breweries giving them what they want. Going back to like pilsners and IPAs, or I'm sorry, pilsners and lagers, you know, I feel like for the last few years, a lot of us who try to, you know, talk about, well, what's going to happen in the near future, you know, we keep talking about like lower alcohol, whether it's, you know, NA beers or just lower alcohol beers like pilsners. And I think, at least again, like I don't have actual data, I never looked this stuff up, but based on the people I interact with, that does seem to be up. I think that stuff will continue to go up. But I don't think things are going away, I guess is my point. I think people will still drink New England style IPAs. I think people still will drink big barrel aged stouts and barley wine. You know, I think that stuff will still be happening at a good volume. I mean, this year's Bourbon County stuff, and again, just in my small world with this channel, I got so much interaction. Like people were still super excited to talk about barrel aged stouts and barley wines. Like that was definitely, and I know that's like a, well, yeah, it's a national release, international, you know, for other parts of the world to actually get some of those beers sometimes, right? And it's all on the same day, kind of. And so it's kind of like it captures a moment. But there were conversations not just about the, you know, Goose Island, Bourbon counties, but these styles holistically. So there's definitely still a big market for that stuff also. So again, I don't think any of this stuff's going away. I think it's just, it might be a little lesser, making room for the variety piece. So that's kind of where I land on it. But as always, I'm super interested what you guys have to say, what you and your buddies are drinking more of, how you guys are shifting. Maybe you have looked at actual data and seen what people are buying more of and less of, you know, like, and you actually did some research and know what you're talking about, unlike me in this topic. Anything, everything, comment section below. Let's get a conversation going. Once you're done doing that, make sure you check me out on Instagram and Untappd. It's No Hype Beer Reviews at both of those places. So please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, imbibe. Cheers, everyone.